Die Hard, here in Germany translated Die Slow, is a 1988 action film by John McTiernan, with 4 sequels so far. More about McTiernan in the retrospectives Predator and The Lost Action Hero. The drama is about Hans Gruber, a typical lovable German businessman who gets for no reason at all thrown off a skyscraper by a crazy American cop. Off-duty policeman John McClane is confronted in an LA skyscraper with a horde of alleged terrorists, most of whom speak perfect German. They are members of the infamous radical West German Volksfrei movement. In my country, falsified, dubbed over. Of course, not with American accent, since that would require irony or some balls.
You shadows seem so close to me. Oh, when you turn away, told me that you couldn't stand. Just wait to say goodbye.
Die Hard is the perfect action movie. A second time, John McTiernan created an action classic, which, like his former Predator, creates its own subgenre. The famous Die Hard formula for success, lonely hero, sometimes with sidekick, fights against seemingly overpowered opponents with political goals that almost always turns out to be just about money, has been copied countless times. Die Hard on water, Die Hard on a train, Die Hard on a plane, Die Hard in a youth center, and so on. The movie is based, surprisingly faithful, on Roderick Thorp's novel Nothing Lasts Forever from 1979, a continuation of The Detective from 1966, adapted in 1968 with Frank Sinatra as the title character, the first appearance of Joe Leland, in the second book already over 60. In the movie, clearly younger John McClane, told exclusively from Leland's perspective. Many film sequences are directly from the book, like taking off, losing shoes and walking barefoot on broken glass, the shaft climbing scenes, killing the leader's brother and taunting him with messages, using dead bodies to get attention, the C4 attack, the hidden gun at the end, and so on. However, events where he is not present are not described in detail, and there is no direct meeting of Gruber and McClane before the final. The tone is also much darker. There he visits his drug-addicted daughter in the Klaxon building. In the movie, it's his estranged wife in the Nakatomi Tower, and she dies after falling of the building together with the villain Anton Gruber, Hans Gruber in the movie. Leland then kills every member of the group simply out of revenge. The convinced resistance fighter Gruber in the adaptation Only an Ordinary Thief is not interested in money, but in uncovering the sinister company deals. He uses naive guerrilla soldiers, among them, in contrast to the movie, 3 women, because Klaxon supports a foreign dictatorship. Some characters are in this form unique to the film, like the limo driver who disappears early in the novel. In the adaptation, he supports McClane throughout the whole story. There is also no asshole journalist, and Sergeant Powell has no wife or children. In the book, a young and crazy cop, who in the end, to catch the last villain, even uses his unsympathetic boss as a shield, who also dies.
Bruce Willis, Die Hard.
Now I hit the other side. I'm not one's wrong. Just these invisible fences, and I know fate's my show.
1990 Die Hard 2, Die Harder, was based on the 1987 novel 58 Minutes by Walter Weger. There, a policeman has only 58 minutes to stop terrorists who hijack an airport. Before the plane his daughter is on, in the movie as before it's his wife, runs out of fuel and crashes. Weger also provided the novel templates for Twilight's Last Gleaming and Telephone, this time under the direction of Simpleton and Golden Raspberries collector Rennie Harlin, among others known for the silly Nightmare 4, Legend of Hercules or Cutthroat Island, which sailed production company Carolco to bankruptcy and even made it into the Guinness Book of Records as the biggest flop of all time. But that crown now goes with over $1 billion sunk for all time to Amazon's unwatchable The Rings of Girl Power disaster. McClane has to fight mercenaries led by the T-1000. which wants to free the original Django himself from a prisoner transport plane. Try Harder is a simple good versus evil story that works off every known cliché and takes itself much too serious. McClane, who in the original, because he was only a human being, was extremely deliberate and farsighted in his doings, comes now across as another unbreakable action hero like Schwarzenegger, Stallone and so on. Countless logic holes, some so big that a plane could fly unnoticed through. The planes could easily call each other at any time since several were warned before the communications closed down. And the pointless dialogues are concealed with lots of implausible action and explosions.
Jump down to my magic car. Jump down to my dream. We're floating on a wave full of love from east to west Berlin. Jump down to my magic car. We check this point, Charlie, and we're dancing through the wall of glass from west to east Berlin.
In 1995, Die Hard came to cinemas with a vengeance, and again by John McTiernan. McClane has to deal with the rogue's brother from the first part, who threatens to blow up various locations in the city unless McClane will play his twisted version of Simon Says. But in fact it's just a cover story for robbing the Federal Reserve. McTiernan delivers an excellent straightforward action movie, which doesn't take itself too seriously. Willis and Jackson are just a joy to watch.
View from above the wall, the streets we walked an hour ago, deserted now and night knows where loneliness can grow. Jump down to my magic car. Jump down to my dream. We're floating on a wave full of love from east to west Berlin. Jump down to my magic car. We check this point, Charlie, and we're dancing through the wall of glass from west to east Berlin.
Something Live Free or Die Hard, aka Die Hard 4.0 from 2007 can only dream of. This time under the direction of Snorhead Lean Wiseman, to whom we owe not only the Underworld slugs but also the total forgettable Total Recall remake. McClane has to deal with hackers for over 2 hours,
We're floating on a wave full of love.
which felt back then in the cinema like 5. Of course they act at first like terrorists and in the end, what a twist, are just after money. Similar as the producers of this action wannabe thriller. If that sounds puke boring, it's because Die Hard 0 out of 4 is puke boring. But for sure still Citizen Kane compared to A Good Day to Die Hard from 2013. This time under the direction of total failure John Moore, whose obvious calls for help like his Omen remake joke or the Max Payne torture probably went unheard. And he still has to direct instead of doing something he's really capable of. Die Hard Mission to Moscow takes McClane to Russia to help his son protecting Yuri, who cares, from whatever who gives a fuck. Shaky cam style. And also something about Chernobyl I think, but only if you stay that long awake and sober. A Good Day to Try Harder is an unwatchable piece of shit. And probably the real reason why Putin turned off the gas supplies for the Western world. For which by law in the next socialist 5-year plan should be stated that all copies must be collected and forever buried under a collapsing skyscraper.
Jump